There's a debate that's eaten 5 years of business news. Does working from home make people more productive or less?
Hard to escape. Both sides are loud.
There's a third group in this story whose lives change more than anyone's, and it has nothing to do with productivity.
Who are we missing?
Here on the Cause and Effect Show. So the paper in question is by Nick Bloom at Stanford, Gordon Dahl at UC San Diego, and Dan-Olof Rooth in Stockholm. And the puzzle they start with is one of the oldest, most stubborn numbers in labor economics, the disability employment gap.
Remind me of the rough size of that gap before the pandemic.
In 2020, about 77% of working-age adults without a disability were employed. About 32% of those with a disability, a 45-point gap that had barely moved for decades.
And the Americans with Disabilities Act was supposed to close it.
Was supposed to. The ADA, passed in 1990, requires reasonable accommodation, and the gap basically didn't move. The courts kept ruling that working from home wasn't a required accommodation.
So that's the baseline. Then what?
Then 2020 happens. Working from home goes from about 7% of full workdays pre-pandemic to 28% by 2023, roughly 4 times bigger.
And in the same window, disability employment did what?
Full-time employment for people with a physical disability rose by 14% from 2019 to 2024. Non-disability full-time employment was essentially flat over the same window.
14% is enormous. So the natural guess is work from home did the work. But that's a guess. How do you actually pin it down?
This is where the design gets nice. Work from home didn't grow evenly. In computer occupations, software developers, database administrators, the work from home rate jumped by 36 percentage points. In teaching, secondary school teachers, it went up by 4 percentage points.
So they compared disability employment growth in the occupations that got a lot of work from home to the ones that didn't.
Right, and to avoid a circular problem, they don't measure work from home using disabled workers themselves. They measure it using non-disabled workers in each occupation.
Walk me through why that matters.
If disabled workers disproportionately demand work from home, then the work from home rate in an occupation is partly caused by them entering. You'd be using the outcome to predict itself. Workers with a disability are about 3% of the workforce. So the change in work from home inside an occupation is essentially set by what the other 97% are doing.
Clean. What does the regression say?
A 1 percentage point increase in WFH in an occupation raises full-time employment for people with a physical disability by about 1%. They also run an instrumental variable version using a pre-pandemic measure by Dingle and Neiman of which jobs are even doable from home. That pushes the estimate up to 1.3%.
Translate the instrumental variable approach into plain English.
Some jobs can be done from a laptop, some can't. They had a list of every occupation, scored before the pandemic, of how feasible work from home was in principle. Occupations that scored high happened to be the ones where work from home actually exploded. So that pre-pandemic score is a clean predictor of how big the work from home shock was. That has nothing to do with anything else that happened in 2020.
And the headline number falls out of that?
Work from home explains somewhere between 68 and 85% of the post-pandemic rise in full-time disability employment.
2/3 to 4/5 of the entire move. That's a single mechanism doing almost all of the work.
And here's the specificity check. They run the same exercise across other groups, split the data by gender, by race, by age, by education. None of them show this pattern, only disability.
So work from home didn't broadly lift disadvantaged workers. It opened a door for one specific group.
Right. But here's where it gets interesting. Once we know work from home is doing the work, the next question is why? Are firms newly willing to hire workers with a disability? Or are workers with a disability newly able to take jobs they always could have done?
Supply or demand? How would you even tell those apart?
They look at wages. If demand for disabled labor went up, say firms suddenly want them more, you'd see employment up and wages up. If supply went up, workers themselves were unblocked, you'd see employment up and wages flat or down.
And the data?
Employment up, wages slightly down. That's the supply side fingerprint.
So this isn't a story about firms getting less prejudiced. It's a story about people being able to take a job they could already do.
That's the reading. For a lot of people with a physical disability, the commute itself was the binding constraint. A 5-day-a-week office, an open floor plan, fluorescent lights, a 90-minute bus to get there, any one of those can be the deal breaker. Work from home dissolves the whole bundle at once.
It's almost the opposite of what the ADA tried to do. The ADA spent 30 years asking employers to add accommodations one at a time.
And the courts kept ruling that working from home wasn't a requirement required one. Then a virus did what the law couldn't.
Is this only an American story?
Same pattern in Australia, Canada, France, and Spain. Disability employment up by an average of 10%, non-disability up by 2%. The UK is the exception, and the UK is also where work from home didn't expand as much because of the furlough scheme that kept people in their old jobs.
Which is its own clean test. Where work from home went up, disability employment went up. Where it didn't, no change.
That's the picture. And there's one more finding worth flagging. The paper looks at people who become disabled mid-career. Post-pandemic, those people are 11% more likely to stay employed than they were before. So work from home isn't just opening doors for new hires, it's keeping people in the labor market who used to fall out.
Stepping back, what's the policy weight of this?
A return to office mandate has costs that don't show up in any productivity report. They show up in disability rolls, in dropped applications, and in a slow widening of a gap this paper found a way to close. The authors aren't saying work from home should be mandated. They're saying that when we evaluate workplace flexibility, there's a group whose stake in the answer is much bigger than the productivity debate suggests.
And it means the call firms are making, bring everyone back, stay flexible, hybrid, is also a choice about who gets to participate in the labor market at all.
Right. The disability employment gap is one of the oldest, stickiest numbers in this field. We accidentally moved it. The question now is whether we want to keep it moved. This is the kind of finding we keep running into when we dig into causal research. The invisible cost matters as much as the visible one.
If you want more papers unpacked like this, subscribe. New paper, same format, every week.